Book 4, Sparta.
Welcome. Sit. Eat your fill, and then you may tell me who you are. Though I can already tell by your looks and manners that you are the son of kings.
Look, Pastratus, the gold and silver, precious stones, everything so richly wrought in bright polished metal. Surely this is what the palace of Zeus is like.
No man can rival Zeus, for his palace and treasures are immortal. But among mortal men, few, if any, can boast of more wealth than I. Still, I take little pleasure in it, for while I was out at sea gathering these treasures, my brother was slain in his own palace, struck down by his wicked wife and her lover. I wish I had come home with 1/10 the riches, but with my brother, and all the other fallen Achaeans still alive. One man I miss above all others. He did more for our cause, suffered more on the sea than any other, and we know not whether he is alive or dead. He left only sorrow for his wife Penelope and his young son Telemachus.
Do we know, Menelaus, the names of these guests? Shall I guess? I may be wrong, but I must say I've never seen such a resemblance as this lad has to noble Odysseus.
I think so too. And just now, when I mentioned that great man, I saw tears spring to the lad's eyes. Sir, you are right. I am Odysseus' son. Wise King Nestor advised me to come here in hopes that you might know something of my father's fate. I have great trouble at home, for a pack of greedy suitors pays court to my mother, and they are eating us out of house and home. If only I knew for sure whether my father is even coming home, or if he is dead and buried somewhere abroad. So, these cowards would usurp a hero's bed? Ha! A doe might as well leave her newborn young in the lair of a lion. When the lion comes home, he will make short work of them. But as for your question, I will tell you truly all that was revealed to me by the old man of the sea. I was returning from Troy by way of Egypt, and I stopped to make a sacrifice to the gods. But my hecatombs must not have satisfied them. For one day out from Egypt, we were becalmed upon the island of Pharos. For 20 days, not a breeze stirred, and our provisions were soon exhausted. The men would take hooks and spread out on the shore in hope of catching fish, while I sat alone on a rocky outcrop. Then a strange woman approached me.
Stranger, do you like to starve? Why do you sit here without food instead of sailing away?
You think I chose this? Some god has becalmed my ships here, and I cannot leave. I wish I knew which of the immortals I have offended, and how I might escape.
Ah, then I can help you. I am Eidothea, the daughter of Proteus, whom they call the Old Man of the Sea, because he is Poseidon's right-hand man. He knows every inch of the seabed and sees all that happens on the water or on shore. If you can snare him and hold him tight, he'll tell you how to complete your voyage, and tell you, too, what has passed in your homeland since you left.
But tell me, how can mortal men snare a god? That's not so easily done.
Listen, and do all as I tell you. Pick out 3 of your best men, stout of heart and limb. I will lead you to a certain cavern on the rocky shore and place you in ambush there. You'll hide in seal carcasses, and I'll dab ambrosia beneath your noses to mask the stench. When the sun hangs at high noon, my father will emerge from the waves, followed by a great pack of seals, which he will usher into his sea cave. He'll count them as a shepherd counts his sheep, and lie down among them to rest. Then you must seize him and hold on to him with all your strength. He will transform into every kind of animal that walks the earth, and to fire and water too, but you must squeeze him tighter and tighter until he returns to his original form. Then you may release him and ask him all your questions.
After that, Eidothea jumped into the sea and vanished beneath the waves. We did all she had said, and caught the old man of the sea unaware. He struggled and changed himself into 100 forms, but finally he grew tired and spoke to me.
Which god helped you, son of Atreus, to play this trick on me? What do you mean by it?
You know that well enough yourself, old man. Tell me, which of the gods holds me here, and how I may be set free to return to my home.
It has been decreed, son of Atreus, that you may not return home until you go back to Egypt and offer hecatombs to all the gods upon the banks of the Nile. Then you may sail swiftly back to your land. Or
Back to Egypt? Very well, old man. I'll do as you say. But tell me now, have all the Achaean heroes returned safely to their homes from Troy, or did any come to a bad end upon the seaways?
son of Atreus, why ask me this? It can only cause you sorrow. Very well, you know how many fell on the field at Troy. Of those who sailed away, only 2 perished. A third still lives, but is hindered from returning. Ajax, was wrecked. Poseidon drove his ship upon the rocks of Gyrae. He pulled himself from the sea, and might still have survived, but he boasted that even the gods couldn't drown him. Poseidon heard this and split the ledge he was standing on, so that he fell back into the brine and perished. Your brother Agamemnon was blown off course, but he reached his native soil again safely, or so it seemed. His wife had taken a lover, Agatthus. He posted a man to watch for Agamemnon's ships, and laid the king a bloody ambush in his own hall. In the midst of the welcome feast, Agatthus's men sprang out and slaughtered your brother and his men. They fought well, but all went down to death. Take comfort, for your nephew Orestes took revenge and killed Agatthus. If you sail quickly, you may arrive in time for the funeral.
Tell me about the last man, the one who is still at sea.
Oh, the third man is Odysseus of Ithaca. I have seen him on an island, deep in sorrow, trapped in the caves of the nymph Calypso. She keeps him there for her pleasure, and he has no means of escape, no ship or crew to take him home.
But no such fate awaits you, he said. As the husband of Helen, Zeus holds you as his son-in-law. You will not die upon this earth, but find your ease in the Elysian fields. With the eternal summer breezes waft all cares away. So said the old man of the sea. I did all that he instructed, and the winds brought me swiftly home. Now you must stay with me and be my guest for 10 or 12 days more. Then I'll send you home with rich gifts, a fine chariot, horses, and a hammered cup, so that you may remember me whenever you tip out the wine in your hall. Son of Atreus, I must return to my comrades at Pylos. They've waited long enough for me already. As for your gift, give me something small that I can carry home with me. I can't take horses on my ship, and Ithaca has no grassy plains to run them in. Very well, then. You shall have the loveliest and most precious treasures in my storerooms. A mixing bowl, wrought in silver and gold by Hephaestus himself. It was given to me by the king of Sidon during my journey back from Troy. This shall be my gift to you, that you may remember me whenever you feast in your hall at home. Antonius, do you know when Telemachus is returning from Pylos? He took my ship, and I happened to need it for an errand to Ilius.
That insolent pup! When did he leave, and who went with him? And for that matter, why did you give him your ship?
Why should I refuse a young man of his standing with so much trouble on his mind? He asked to borrow my ship, and I lent it to him gladly. As for his crew, they're the best young men on the island, except for us, of course, and Mentor went with him too. Or at least I thought I saw him board the ship that night, but 2 days later I passed him in the street in broad daylight.
Bad news, lads. We thought Telemachus would never make the voyage, and here he's carried it off beneath our noses. That boy is going to give us trouble. Quick, get me a swift ship and 20 men. We'll catch him in the straits between Ithaca and the bluffs of Same and sink his ambitions. Medon, what errand are you running now for those insolent dogs, my so-called suitors? I despise them all. So cruel, so arrogant. Didn't their fathers tell them what a good king Odysseus was? Fair to every man, no favoritism or petty rages. They insult his memory.
They are worse than you know. I think they are planning to kill your son on his way back to Pylos.
Pylos? What? Herald, why has my child sailed to Pylos? He is so young, out on the pitiless ocean.
I do not know if it was his own thought, or if a god inspired him, but he went to find news of his father.
Leave me! Athena, child of Zeus, whose shield is thunder, if ever my husband burned rich thigh bones of oxen to you, please protect my son.